Hi, Mr. Right here, and welcome to this How to Add and Subtract Mixed Numbers film. Of course, this is a topic which comes up on every exam board and comes up really frequently, so make sure you are au fait with this. Right, good luck, let's get on with the maths. Okay, how to add mixed numbers. Well, here's one example, and you can see that I've got 6 2/5 add 4 1/4. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add both of these whole numbers to give me 10. And now I just have the 2/5 and the quarter to worry about. So I'm going to copy down the 10 and I'm going to have a think, what can I change fifths and quarters both into? If I'm stuck with that, of course, you can do 5 times 4 on your calculator. I can change both of these into 20ths. Now let's have a look at this 2/5 here. The 5 has been multiplied by 4, so I must do the same to the top. 2 4s are 8. 2/5 is the same as 8/20ths. And now let's look at the second fraction, the 4. And the bottom has become a 20, so it's been multiplied by 5. So I must do the same to the top, and 1 times 5 is 5. So what have I got here? I've got my 10 wholes. I've got 8/20ths and 5/20ths, which gives me 13/20ths altogether. And have a quick check of that. I can't cancel it down. That is my final answer. Let's have a look at one more example, and this one is a past exam question, and here it is. And the question reads, show that 4 2/3 plus 3 4/5 equals 8 7/15. Now, the best thing to do here is to take the left-hand side, work it out, and hope that we get 8 7/15 is our answer. And then we will have shown that the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. So all I'm really being asked to do in this question is to work out 4 2/3 plus 3 4/5. So wholes first, the 4 and the 3 gives me 7, and now I'm left with 2/3 plus 4/5. Thirds and fifths. I'm going to change those into 15ths. Okay, and of course I'm going to copy down my 7 wholes. Right, now the thirds, the 2/3 has been, I need to change it into 15. So I've multiplied the bottom by 5, because 3 5s are 15. So I multiplied the top by 5. 2 5s are 10. The 4/5, I've multiplied the 5 by 3. So I must do the same to the 4. 4 3s are 12. So I'm going to get 7 wholes. And how many 15ths altogether? 22 15ths altogether. Now let's have a look at that. The 22 15ths, that's more than a whole, isn't it? Because, I'll just jot over here, 22 15ths is more than a whole. 15 15ths is a whole, isn't it? So I've got more than 15 15ths here. In fact, I've got enough 15ths for one whole, that would be 15 15ths, and I've got 7 more 15ths. So what I've actually got here is 1 7/15. So go back to the question here. I've got 7 wholes and 22 15ths. So altogether that will be 8 wholes and 7 15ths. And now let's have a quick check of the question. The question says, show that the left-hand side here equals the right-hand side. Well, look at that. I've done that, haven't I? So that is that example done. Now we're moving on to how to subtract mixed numbers. I've covered these in the same film because they're pretty similar methods. Let's have a look at this example here. I've got 7 5/8 and I need to subtract 2 7/12. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with these wholes first. I've got 7 take away 2, which is 5, of course. And now I've got 5/8 minus 7/12. Okay. We're going to follow this similar method as we did when we were adding. I'll write down the 5. Now I've got 8s and 12s, so I have to change them into the same thing. Now, if you were stuck with this, of course, you can do 8 times 12 on your calculator and change them both to 96. But actually, in this case, if I count up my 12s until I get to something that 8 will divide into, 12, 24, there you are. I can change both of these into 24ths, which is just a bit easier than changing them into 96ths. But there's no problem if you've gone for the 96ths option. 5/8. The 8 has been multiplied by 3 to get 24. So 5 needs to be multiplied by 3, 15. The 12ths. Well, the bottom's been doubled, so the top must be doubled. 14. Now, I've got my 5 wholes, and I've got 15 24ths, take away 14 24ths. Don't make the mistake of adding them. 15 24ths, take away 14 24ths is 1 24th. Now, have a final look at that answer. Can it be cancelled? No, it can't. And that is that question complete. Okay, now let's look at an exam question. Here we go. Example 2. Show that the left-hand side here is equal to the right-hand side. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the right-hand side. We're going to write down the left-hand side and work it out. And then at the end, go, hey, look, that's what you said it was going to be. So 3 take away 1 is 2. Now I've got 4/7 take away 5/8. What can you turn those 7s and 8s into? Well, if you don't know, you can do 7 times 8 on your calculator, and you'll get 56. Change them both into 56. Okay. The 7 on the bottom of the first fraction has been multiplied by 8, so I must do the same to the top. 4/8 are 32. Okay. The 8 on the bottom of the second fraction has been multiplied by 7, so I'll do the same to the top. 5/7 are 35. Oops, 35. So I've got 2 wholes, and I've got 32 56 minus 35 56. Well, 32 minus 35 is minus 3 56. So I've got 2 and minus 3 56. Obviously, I can't leave the answer like that. Now, there are 2 ways of dealing with this. There's a work it out in your head way, or there's a use a calculator way. If you want to use a calculator, then you're going to do 2 minus 3 56 on your calculator, and it'll simply tell you the answer. If you're going to use your brain and do it in your head, then you can do 2 cakes. Imagine having 2 cakes. Here they are, 1, 2, and we're going to subtract away 3 56. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to subtract away those. So what would I have left? Well, I'll obviously still have 1 cake. And on the second cake here, I had 56 56. And I've taken away 3 56. So I'm going to have 53 56 left. Okay, so there's my answer. Now let's just check the question. The question says, show that the left-hand side equals 1 and 53 56. And look at that. That's what I've got. So that is how to subtract mixed numbers. Right, I hope you found that useful. If you did, of course, please hit like and give me some positive feedback. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. And if you have enjoyed this content and it's improving your maths, then subscribe to the channel.